This video is primarily intended for telecommunication professionals who are looking to extend their services to new customers and cutting their operational costs related to phone bill data extraction. Both service providers as well as business consumers will benefit from this technology. Automatically extracted billing information can be loaded into any database system, consolidated with existing data, and be readily available for bill auditing, revenue management, as well as other business tasks. With TextConverter, you can easily configure a complex data extraction process within minutes, cutting the development and operational costs 3 to 4 times. Let's begin with a typical phone bill report. Looking at the report, we can see that account summary information is located at the top, and call details information is arranged in 2 columns down below. TextConverter will allow you to configure a data extraction for a report like this in just several clicks. Let's create one now. We start by highlighting a part of the input text corresponding to the left column and selecting Set up fields from this selection from the context menu. All data matching this pattern is automatically highlighted. Now we take note of the position separating the left and right columns in the text preview pane. In this case, it occurs at position 112. We turn on the multi-column template option and set the split value to 112. Notice now that all data from the second column matching this pattern is also selected. Reviewing our current setup, we can see that there are several input lines which were recognized as valid, but clearly do not belong to the data set that we are trying to extract. Let's make an adjustment to our template. We set the Can Be Empty property of the first input field to null, and the extraneous lines will no longer be extracted. All the information from both columns is extracted and visible in the output preview table. The input and output data is synchronized, making it very easy to visually confirm that the extraction works correctly. Let's add a top-level template to extract the account's summary information. We'll use tag-based fields to define this template. Start by selecting the corresponding section of the input text and click Add Tags from the context menu. The fields are added to the input and output dictionaries, and the corresponding values are now highlighted. Since these values are repeated several times in the document, we modify the template by setting the first occurrence only property for the fields. This ensures that the repeated values are not extracted. Now the top level data is added to the output as well. Let's direct the output to an Excel sheet. And run the project. We can view the results using our built-in database viewer. Let's save the project for future use. Now let's open another phone bill report with a different layout. The interesting feature of this layout is that the same input record can begin in one column and continue in another, or begin in the second column on one page and continue in the first column on the next page. This layout is commonly referred to as snaking or newspaper style. Let's see how TextConverter can handle this newspaper style layout. Just like in the last sample, we start by selecting the input lines corresponding to the left column data, and in this case, set up a multi-line template because the data for one extracted record resides on more than one input line. Then we expand this template to the second column as we did in the previous example. When a record starts on one page and finishes on the next, we need to know where data extraction starts on a page to properly stitch together the two parts of a record. This is done by setting the page start property of the template. Once that is finished, the template is ready. By selecting records in the output preview, you can see how the input record data flows from one column to another, as well as from one page to another. Let's add the account summary information like in the previous sample, and then save this new project. This same input file also has a circuit details section, which consists of circuit and customer information, as well as a list of provided services. This data is also arranged in 2 columns. Let's begin by setting up a template to extract the list of services. Again, start by selecting the corresponding input lines and setting up the fields from the selection. Next, we turn on the multi-column property, enter the split value, and verify that both columns are correctly covered by the template. Let's move on to extracting circuit and customer data. Let's set up 3 tag-based fields to get circuit ID, customer purchase order, and customer address. For the address, we want to extract the individual fields of the address. Please note how easy it is to break an address block into separate address fields. Address, city, state, and zip fields are automatically added to the output, and their values are extracted from the corresponding address blocks. Finally, we add one more template to handle the account level information. You can see how quick and easy TextConverter makes it to configure an extraction for 3 different levels of data from a multi-column layout in just several minutes. The extraction results can be output to any flat file, Excel, or Access, as well as any relational database such as SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, and others. Let's save the project. All TextConverter projects can be used for automation in several ways: via command line, through a Windows scheduled task, or using the API. You can download samples we have created from our site by clicking the Get Sample button. Thank you, and have a nice day.